Okay, folks, welcome.
Yay!
So welcome to the Bay Area AR Meetup. We love having you, and welcome back to our home here at the Microsoft Reactor. My name is Tom Emmerich. If we haven't met before, I'm very happy to meet you. I'm a Canadian living here in Toronto, or sorry, in the US, from Toronto, and my partner in crime, Ori Inbar, is actually in Israel right now, so he won't be joining us tonight. But we have a really great lineup of presentations and demos, including looking at augmented reality, location-based entertainment. We have some hardware demos. We also have some blockchain demos, so you're in for a treat today. And of course, I want to give a big round of applause to our venue sponsor and our host. You're in their home, Microsoft.
Yay, Microsoft!
So a big thank you to the Microsoft Reactor team. You guys have been a joy to work with, and we love coming back here for the AR Meetup. Of course, this event also would not be possible without Super Ventures, which is a fund that I run with Ori and some partners here in Silicon Valley, dedicated to augmented reality. We provide the eats and treats, although the pizza gets torn through very quickly, I see, so we might have to up the quota on that. But if you are an early stage startup that is looking for pre-seed, seed stage funding, please come talk to me. We've made a number of investments, one that I'll note in my AR roundup. So definitely feel free to come talk to myself during the networking. Okay, I have some exciting news to share. How many of you know the AWE brand, Augmented World Expo? Aw, nice. That's great to see. So in an effort to bring all of the events that Ori and I run home into one mutual family, we are rebranding AR LBE as AWE Nite SF. AWE Nite SF joins the global XR community that is AWE. It has a reach of over 250,000. And it actually joins a number of meetups. We have a chapter, of course, here in San Francisco, but you may or may not know that we have a chapter also running in Toronto and in New York City. And in combination, just the meetups alone, we have over 15,000 members. And so in bringing it under one umbrella, it allows for what's happening here on a local level to be amplified on a global stage, which is a real big benefit. And you can also expect a lot of changes from the sponsors and the speakers and exhibitors that we have to cross-pollinate and cross-promote between all of the city chapters, as well as connecting it to our events, our main conferences that we run in the USA, Europe, and China. And one of the ways that we're doing this is in bringing all of the communication into one channel. So if you're not following a reality event on Twitter or Augmented World Expo on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, you should. Our newsletter is also a great resource for news in AR, VR, but also related to the many events, not just ours, that are happening in the space. So definitely follow these channels. We will be promoting and also live tweeting and live streaming from all of our meetups, Toronto, New York, and San Francisco on these channels, which means you get to see what's happening in those cities if you wish to join in on the party. Speaking of a party, AWE USA is coming up May 30th to June 1st. It is our largest event yet. And we're actually running an Earth Day promotion in partnership with Meta. I know Earth Day was yesterday, but we've continued the celebration for the next 48 hours. You can use the code EARTH200 to save $200, and for every ticket that's sold beginning this morning through to tomorrow evening, we are going to be donating $5 to the NRDC to help protect the environment. So note down the promo code. This is a great way to get into AWE at a significant discount. And definitely check out AWE2018.com because we have over 350 speakers, 300 exhibitors. This event is huge. We have 100,000 square feet of expo, including an immersive playground, which is a little bit like a theme park / arcade. And this is our second year that we're doing that. We're going to be releasing the first couple of experiences on our website later this week. And we are headed to Munich again this year, and for AWE Europe. And if you're looking to speak or if you wish to exhibit at this event, head on over to AWEEU.com or come on up and talk to me and we can see if we can get you a spot. Finally, I have actual dates that will not change for our next couple of meetups. And they are May 17th and June 12th. And so if you are looking to demo or if you want to speak at these events, now's a good time to email me. You can also talk to me today, but it gets a little bit hectic. So emailing me at tom@superventures.com is a good way to get onto the agenda. And we only actually have a couple spots on these ones because we already have some demos lined up. Okay, so every month I do a roundup of what's happening in the AR space. It's only been about a month, maybe a little bit more than we last talked, and it has been extremely busy. I have all of this information in a blog post that I put up on the SuperVentures blog. I pinned it to the top of the SuperVentures Twitter account, so you can easily find it. But feel free to take pictures of these slides. What's great about the blog post is that it also puts the links to all the articles that these are from, so you can read more about it. So I started with, as always, a wealth of data and forecasts. Alexis from Greenlight Insights is going to be coming up here giving you some net new data. But we saw reports coming out on anything from headset shipments to the number of AR kit apps that have been downloaded, all the way through to digging deeper into what is the automotive AR market. I saw one today on the military AR market and also location-based entertainment. But the ones that I put here are around the IDC and CCS Insight forecasts on AR, VR headsets. And in 2018 alone, IDC estimates 12.4 million to be shipped versus the very optimistic CCS Insights at 22 million. And our friends at DigiCapital were also back this past month with a new report that sizes the seed capital within AR, VR to be at 3.6 billion within the past 12 months. So a lot of really great data there if you're building a business case or you really want to get a sense as to where the space is going to be this year, leading up to 5 years. I definitely check out what's available. So speaking of investment activity, again, there were a lot of acquisitions, a lot of investments being made in tools and content and even hardware. Probably one of the biggest announcements was L'Oreal's very first tech acquisition, which was a beauty AR company from Toronto, which is not here, but which is where I'm from, called ModiFace, which is really exciting. And we saw a lot of brands jump into the AR space. Nike acquired a computer vision leader, and Bose also launched a fund that's dedicated to AR, including augmented audio. But the real winner here was the AR cloud, and we saw this past month announcements around companies such as Ubiquity 6 and SuperVentures portfolio company 6D. UAR came out of stealth, so a lot of activity around the AR cloud, which Ori talked about a month or two ago. On the hardware side, we saw a significant amount of activity in haptics and gesture and gloves. And some really interesting investments in content, including the Wave VR Series A, VTime, and a B2B2C solution called Stream. And there was a load of activity on the launch announcement front as well. HTC surprised us all by unlocking AR capabilities using the front-facing camera on the Vive Pro. Magic Leap is finally shipping to some developers, although rumor has it they're not so great on the terms. Qualcomm and Leap Motion came out with reference designs, both that included gesture technology, and Snapchat Spectacles hit the FCC, indicating that these guys may be back very soon. And there were also some significant announcements related to WebVR. So Google adding Oculus Rift support for Chrome, Mozilla launching the Firefox Reality Browser, and a load of exciting creator and developer tool updates from Snapchat, Google Maps, and even Verizon with their Environment AR designer. And now with mobile AR in the hands of many, we're starting to hear about brands jumping on board augmented reality. So anything from Wayfair, Overstock, and IKEA, and the 85+ AR core apps that were recently listed, to Star Wars' HoloChess, to Bear Burger, and even Eminem, Justin Timberlake, and Coachella jumped on the AR bandwagon. So all of this, again, like I mentioned, is on the SuperVentures blog post, so go check it out. There's tons of stuff that's happening in this space, so you should all be really excited, and I know you're all part of that. But that's not why you're here. You're here to hear the other speakers, so I'm going to get off stage. And our first speaker is Alexis from Greenlight Insights. She's going to be talking on augmenting the movies, identifying AR's opportunity in cinema. So please join me in welcoming Alexis Macklin from Greenlight Insights to the stage.
We'll go ahead and get started. I have some new data to unveil for you guys today, hot off the press. No one has seen it yet, not even our clients. So this will be fun. So I'm going to be talking about AR's opportunity in the out-of-home entertainment market, specifically about cinemas. So we'll go ahead and dive in. We're going to cover kind of a wide breadth within a short time. So I'm Alexis Macklin. I'm an analyst with Greenlight Insights. We are a research company focused on virtual and augmented reality. We do everything from industry forecasts to consumer data, industry surveys as well. And I personally focus on media and entertainment within the space. Content capture technology like 360 cameras and volumetric, and then consumer trends. So today we're going to cover about 3 different things. So I'm first going to cover our specific outlook on the space, then what exactly LBE VR is, and then we'll talk about how AR can fit into that ecosystem. So when we see AR, we get really excited, whether it's mobile or head-worn. We think it will change the way we work, we play, and we communicate. And I'm sure all of you are enthusiastic about that as well because you're here. So although we've seen a lot of popularity and a lot of brands jumping on board with AR, between the AR Kit launch and AR Core, we aren't seeing that enthusiasm from consumers. So we see about 20% of about 3,000 US consumers that we surveyed were actually familiar with augmented reality, where 80% were unfamiliar. The interesting thing about this is when we're looking at the types of applications they have do have Pokemon Go, they have Facebook, they have Instagram, they have Snapchat. So we think it's kind of 2 different options here. They aren't using the AR applications, or they're using them and just don't know what it is, right? So for comparison, in 2015, when we did our consumer report for the first time, we saw that 38% of the US consumers that we surveyed were familiar with VR. So AR could be having a little bit of an uphill battle here, just in the sense of getting that familiarity and understanding with consumers. So we're trying to have them understand, okay, this is VR, this is AR, this is MR, this is hyper VR. There's a ton of different realities out there, or at least what we're branding, right? So we have to be able to communicate that to consumers on what is actually AR. So when we're looking at the AR ecosystem, we see this at least for head-worn, as there is a ton of different hardware players that are providing different types of headsets for a lot of different platforms. So we see this as more of a enterprise ecosystem right now. There's a lot of different options out there, and they can be more specific for different industries. But when we look at the mobile or the handheld ecosystem, we see that there's fewer actual hardware involved and a lot more content. So we think this is better off for consumers. This is an ecosystem where content creators can already come and play. So this is kind of a plug and play almost into the mobile ecosystem. So when we think of location-based VR entertainment, we see this as just as messy as augmented reality, that ecosystem. So in terms of hardware, although this can be a huge range with haptic gloves and haptic suits and customized different controllers and specialty headsets, we're seeing this kind of come down into two different types of VR experiences, the mobile and the tethered, or the free roam experiences that are a little bit higher quality. So we're seeing mixed reality facilities and arenas where people can have a really high quality VR experience and roam around the place. Then we're also seeing VR focused arcades and locations that is a little closer to the in-home experience. And then we're seeing VR installations pop up at cinemas, at retail venues and FECs, and also some VR rides in a couple different forms at theme parks, whether that's the mobile experience onto a roller coaster, or maybe more of that free roam experience that's a bit more immersive. And then of course the custom types of VR experiences at a cultural or education center. So when we see the types of experiences that are being offered here, we're seeing them kind of fit two different types of consumers. We're seeing it fit either for the competitors or the discoverers. So the competitors are all about that replayability. They want the competition. They want to be able to play against their friend or compete for a top leadership leaderboard. Or even like for a big bounty in an esports type of tournament. Whereas we're seeing the discoverers want that more of a high quality experience. They want to be able to walk around, touch and feel, and be able to pick something up and maybe look under it. They want to take their time and be immersed in the environment. So as far as AR's opportunity within this very complex sector, we see that there's already some interest there. So in terms of interest from moviegoers who go to the movies once a month or more, they are 70% of them are interested in mobile AR experiences, and we see that go up from there to the consumers who go to cultural centers or museums once a month or more, and then lastly we see the most interest with theme park pass holders who go to theme parks or amusement parks once a month or more, to 81% and 76%. So although there's a lot of interest there from out-of-home entertainment's biggest customers, we see that maybe not every consumer is the right consumer for AR experiences. We see a low immediate interest from consumers who are ages 55 to 70, where there's a high index of interest in consumers who are 18 to 24. So although this doesn't mean that they're completely closed off from AR experiences, it means that they may take a little time to convince them to either download the app or maybe understand exactly what they're going to get into. The younger consumers have a little bit more of an understanding of what AR is. So within the space, within location-based entertainment as it is, we're seeing some of the biggest entertainment players already involved. Of course, we see specific VR companies that are focusing in on the sector, but we're seeing AMC, IMAX, and Six Flags start adding this to their locations. And also Disney and Sony that are investing in very detailed ways of not only having a VR experience that they're offering in-home, that's a bit of a marketing type of experience, but also something high quality with their partnerships with The Void for Star Wars and Ghostbusters. So AR has an opportunity within this type of space. They're already experimenting with more immersive experiences. So you see on the right here, the video playing, we see Regal Cinemas has added in Movie Bill. So this is an AR magazine. Consumers can get this magazine while they go to the cinema and then come home and use an AR application to interact with it in a different way, to have a more interactive digital experience. And then the other one, the GIF on the left here, we see the Rampage AR promotional app from Warner Brothers. So different consumers can walk around town and see monsters destroy the world around them. So AR has something that VR can't. It's something that the consumer can take home with them. So this is something that can feed into that cycle of brands saying, hey, come to the movies, here's this AR app. Then they go to the movies, maybe get something, a detailed, like Moviebill, where you're able to get something physically there, interact with it more, and maybe share it to their friends, and that repeats the cycle. So we see a big opportunity there. Well, this is just a very small bit of all the data that we have. So we do have a free webinar tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. If anyone is interested in joining, I have the URL up here. So we're going to be looking a bit more in detail about VR and the consumers that are interested in it. So this is very small, but I'll open it up for questions.
Big round of applause for Alexis, everybody. Questions from the crowd? Rika, maybe if you want to get set up in the meantime. Questions for Alexis. Thanks again for showing that data for the very first time. Love that. Here's your mic here. So Rika from Atheer is going to get set up for our first demo, but any questions on this opportunity here? Here we go. I'm going to run on over. Yes, sir.
So what would you have the platform creators do to help increase interest in VR?
So I mean, we're in VR, AR, sorry. VR. We're seeing a lot of interest there immediately right off the bat. Consumers are more familiar with what VR is, especially Samsung. Interestingly enough, when we've looked at the data from this year, HTC kind of is more towards the bottom in terms of brand familiarity. So I think the first thing is to realize or discover what type of consumers you want to reach. Luckily, with the standalone headsets that are set to come out this year and some at the beginning of next year, you'll be able to reach a wider consumer breadth. Just because right now you have to have the pre-existing computing technology, which is a hurdle to get over right now. Whether that's like cost or not, it really just depends on that. But there's a lot of considerations within that. What we're seeing is a lot of consumers have experienced 360 video and also VR. There's very few people who have only experienced VR. So there's many different ways that you could get into the door for consumers, whether that is on a 360-degree video to show a demo, or even in that out-of-home market. So there's a lot of different areas, but it really depends on like the consumers you're trying to reach.
Question over here.
Yeah, Nicole Zara.
Hi.
Great talk. We really appreciate the data. We'll tune in tomorrow. I was curious for LBE. Do you have any data on content trends, like what kinds of things these venues are looking for? What kinds of things people are finding successful? In terms of content that's going out.
Yeah, so we've in talking to different brands, since this isn't necessarily reflected in the consumer data that we have, but in our relationships with talking to brands, they're looking specifically for their IPs and how to best have them be immersive and interact with consumers. So that can really depend on the experience, right? So something like Star Wars has this very immersive world. There's a lot of possibilities where maybe something like The Notebook wouldn't be as great for a VR experience. What we've seen is they're really focused on the right type of way to experience, whether that's a quick shooter game maybe for a Star Wars experience. We're on this. But then maybe you are more, walking around the area, you're walking around the different ships that you're on, like the Millennium Falcon. Then that might be a bit more of a free roam experience. So they're really looking into what best fits in each category rather than what consumers are trying to reach or where the biggest reach is, which is pretty refreshing. But I guess it's nice to be a big entertainment brand with a huge marketing budget.
Thank you, Alexis. And we will be posting our webinar on a reality event, so I'll get the details from Alexis so you can learn more, but thank you so much for being here, I appreciate it. So we're going to head into a couple of demos. We have 4 lined up today. The first one is Rika Nakazawa, who is the VP of Strategy and Business Development from Atheer. And are we all set? Yep, I see something. The magic's happening.
Okay. Yeah?
Okay, can you hear her okay, everybody?
Can you hear me?
Okay, loving the nods.
Okay.
Take it away, Rika.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I wasn't born cross-eyed. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this teed up. So my name is Rika, and I'm here on sort of behalf of one of our partners, Toshiba. As Tom mentioned, I run our partnerships and strategy at Atheer. If you don't know about Atheer, I'll have a word or two about us as well. But appropriately, I wore red for Toshiba, and I'm wearing our teal-green color earrings, so I'm representing both sides today. So I'm here to actually demonstrate to you the first Bay Area demonstration of a Windows 10-based wearable augmented reality device. Great, right? Well, happening. So really excited to do this. Toshiba announced the device in March, and it's been very popular. The devices will be available in early May, so you will be able to get your hands on one. And it's appropriate that I'm showing Windows 10 base being here in Microsoft. So thank you very much, Microsoft, for being part of the program with Toshiba. So Toshiba, tagline is leading innovation. Probably been sort of some time since Toshiba's really kind of come out with something that's been as disruptive as the device. And what I have here, the device is actually 2 parts. This is the PC part. So this is literally a Windows 10 based PC that you can just plug into your monitor. They have an accessory where you can just plug that in, Bluetooth the mouse, Bluetooth the keyboard, and you're ready to go. This device that Vuzix provided to Toshiba is the wearable piece with the display. And it looks like I'm in good company with people that have probably demoed before, so total caveat. There's going to be gremlins, I suspect, here, so please be patient with me. But before I demo the device, let me just give you a little bit of background. So the smart glasses, so Toshiba set out to really bring to market an enterprise class ready device that was able to address a lot of the different situations that many of you have probably heard, enterprise being a big area for augmented reality. Toshiba agrees. They've been in the enterprise space, are very much in the enterprise space. They have an immense footprint. So we at Atheer are very honored to be able to partner with them and being able to deliver software. And so they really thought about the enterprise ecosystem very carefully when they designed the device. So things around security, you have a fingerprint reader on this device. Things around the ability to have compute performance. So it's an Intel 6th generation Core M processor with memory, 16 gigabyte and SSD on the device. And they also thought about, well, if you're going to be able to have a device that's long running, this is about 4 hours battery life on here with a swappable battery. So you can have a battery ready to go if you're going to be running 12-hour shifts. I hope nobody is. But that's what they thought about when they designed it. It's about ½ a pound, and it's meant to be clipped in, but I'm already clipped in so many places, and my skirt may fall off, and that would be so great. So I'm going to hold this in my hand as I demo to you today. And just a little bit about Atheer. Toshiba approached us because they knew they wanted to bring a device to market, but like any other personal computer, you have to have applications on it to be able to show it off. So they came to us about a year ago, and so we've been working with them very closely to be able to bring to bear our AR Enterprise, which is the application I'll show you today. We have a background in hardware, so that was immensely helpful. Some of you may know us from when we were founded in 2012. We've gone out of hardware, but are focusing with partners like Toshiba, and hope to partner with anybody here that's in this device market. And we are now basically working with smart glass makers all around the world, working with solution integrators all around the world, and working with technology companies as well. And essentially what we are doing is we are addressing with Toshiba some of the most common use cases that we see today. The acronym is FAST, fixing, so MRO, huge area maintenance, repair operations, assembly, so logistics, manufacturing, pick and pack, surveying, so if you're out there surveying, we are getting a lot of inquiries now from aerospace and defense, the unfortunate incidents of Southwest has put a huge spotlight on being able to monitor, survey, and assess. And that's been a key part of augmented reality. The accuracy and the timeliness around it is key. And then training. There's a lot of mixing between VR and AR, so VR being totally immersed, and that AR is what you use to actually apply what you learn into the real world. And we know that the commercial interest is there. Over half of the companies that were recently surveyed by IDC said that they're at least experimenting, they're trying to figure out what's going on. This is exactly the area that Toshiba realized that there was going to be tremendous opportunity, is that we're just starting, right? Well, you saw some numbers from Tom, you saw some numbers from Alexis in terms of the take-up. Looks like from a demographic, there's probably a wide range from the 70% to 40%. So that is what is extremely exciting for the partnership and what we're doing with Toshiba. So let me just go straight to the demo. Phil Osako is our colleague over at Toshiba. He's happy to take any inquiries from anybody here. This is going to be a little awkward in that I have to play two people. The persona is going to be Matt, who's the expert, and the web interface that he has, and then Sandra, the one wearing the glasses, is out in the field. She's a field technician. She files tickets. She tries to troubleshoot. She does maintenance, repair, and operations. So this interface that you have here, and up until our partnership with Toshiba, we were on Android. So working with Toshiba was where we ported our technology and our platform to Android. And it's not just the application, but the ability to use voice, head motion, and gesture in 2D. So let me share that with you right now. This application is TeamViewer, and this little screen here is what I see in my desktop. And so what we have here is this interface, this icon here is the communication. This here is the communication, well actually let me just show you here. So when I bring this up, these are all the people in my organization, and I can reach Matt and I can send him simple text. There's pre-programmed responses that are programmable to whatever the most commonly used in your organization. And I can actually send Matt a note, a text message, say I'm 50% done, and Matt gets that on his end. Just log back in here. So, and what else I can do is I can call Matt. So one of the most common use cases is remote expert assistance. That happens on any scale. When you're out in the field, you see an anomaly, you need to be able to find an expert rather than waiting for them to come fly out. You can call them directly, and when I call, so I see that Sandra's calling me. The interface. It's going to be hard for me to turn off the mic on this. So when I call, when Sandra calls me, I'll be able to see exactly what she sees. And I'll also be able to annotate while she's out in the field if there's something anomalous. So let me just try this again and do that so you can see that. So I didn't want to say anything there because I would have blasted you with the echo of my voice. That would have been awkward. So anyway, so that was an example of remote, see what I see. So I can make sure that Matt, because this camera kind of tilts and you just don't quite know what the angle is going to be, so I can make sure that the picture in my view is exactly what Matt is seeing in the field. So you have the ability to have text communication, and then the other piece that Toshiba wanted to take advantage of was workflows. So being able to do step-by-step instruction, checklists, any kind of standard operating procedure that can be imported from an ERP system. We have a REST API on our backend, so the ability to pull that information in. So let me just see if this is going to work. Hello, Atheer. Hello, Atheer. Open task flow. So this actually already opened, so I can actually usually get a menu of different task flows that I'm going to go through. And I can say gesture on, gesture on. So now, with gestures that are on, and our background is in 3D depth sensing gesture, but we ported to 2D. So I can put my hand in front of me, and as I move my hand, it also moves the icon accordingly. And if I close my hand on the right icon, if I can get that back in the field of view. This is where like having normal hands is super helpful because then it recognizes your hand. I can go and essentially select by closing my hand, and of course it's not going to work because alright, well, it works. Trust me on that. But so what you can do is you can use, right now it's just simple gesture, is the ability to move across icons. I don't think I have it in the right line of sight. So as you move your hand across, you can close your hand. You can actually program the gesture to be what you want it to be through the different hand gestures. But we're working on some AI and some computer vision to be able to recognize gestures more accurately. So in the task flows, you can actually go in and actually embed files, embed links. You can embed a task flow within a task flow. So if you scan a barcode and that's supposed to pop up another barcode, you can go in and do that. Hello, Atheer? Go back. I don't give up. I'm fighting and trying to get it. Okay. If any of you want to try this afterwards, just come on over and you might have a better handle on things than me. Alright, so, and then the other thing that you can do is you can actually go in and do note taking. So if I want to take a picture, it's going to be able to, oops, that took the picture way too quickly. But when that happens, you can take a photo, you can take a video, or you can take a voice note, and that gets all immediately plugged into the cloud because our AR Enterprise is a SaaS-based cloud application. And so when I come in here, and when I look into the files, I can actually update this, and then the picture that I just took will be made available immediately. If it's a video, it's going to take a while. And for Matt, he has a communication column here, so this is my running communication with Sandra. I can send her a message, are you okay? And that will show up on my glasses here, and all the notifications will always be logged. And Matt can also go in, and he can also modify the task flow. So the one that I just was going through is the gearbox one. I can actually go in and modify the task flow. We also can import task flow or operating procedures, any digital assets that need to be imported from an enterprise system that can be ported in. And the big issue around compliance for training, especially oil and gas, high hazard, dangerous things, you need to make sure that your members are actually going through the training. And so we have the ability to audit or track how people are doing with task flow. So you come in here and you can see that people had different issues going through various task flows, whether it was completed or if it was paused or if it abandoned partway. And that's essentially, because I'm getting the minute signal here, that's essentially what we've been up to. This is a super sharp, crisp picture. I'm from Japan, so this is horrifying to me that, take a super blurry picture. So this is, that's essentially what we've been up to with Toshiba and the Dyna Edge device. It will be retailing for $18.99. If you get me a couple of glasses of wine, that might come out kidding. $18.99 or $18.95, I think. Sorry, and that will be available beginning May. And if you would like to come to our office at Atheer in Mountain View to come check it out yourself, or by all means come on down. And we're super excited about what the future holds for all of us in AR. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rita. Andy, if you want to get up on deck. Rita, we'll take maybe a question or two while Andy gets all set up from Panar. Yes, here we go. You all set? You're going to need that for a bit.
So you mentioned that the product is actually a partnership between Toshiba, Atheer, Vuzix, Microsoft. Can you talk a little bit more about how that all came together?
How it all came together. Well, I think, so Toshiba and Microsoft obviously have a long-standing relationship. They've been working together for years in the PC industry. Vuzix, again, great team at Vuzix. They've been in the industry for a while. The monocular device, Vuzix has some of the best in the field, in our opinion. And how we came about, we have a relationship with Vuzix as well. It wasn't through us that the relationship came through, but I think it was Toshiba seeing what we were showing, especially at AWE last year, a year ago, was one of the turning points really for us to be able to demonstrate that this application really does work. And we share a common target. We share a common target, our target of enterprise industrial customers for the most part. So these glasses can be hooked into with safety glasses or a hard hat. It's also designed in a way, so I didn't know this until I started working at Atheer, but you're either right eye or left eye dominant, so the ability to switch these around. So like many things in life, it was about beautiful timing. So yeah, well, there was a lot of hard work. We had to really work very hard to meet Toshiba's timelines for porting our technology, but we were really proud of the outcome. Yeah.
Awesome. Big round of applause for Rika, everybody. Thank you, Rika. Our next demo is from CEO Andy Graff from Planar. So please give him a round of applause. He's all ready for you.
All right. Thank you, Tom, for having me here. I really appreciate it. Planar is an insurtech startup out of Austin, Texas. I'm going to be toggling between devices here, so you got to bear with me. Hopefully I can make sure everything's working well. We are a virtual claim solution for insurance carriers, for interior home claims. So fire, small fire, water, flood, we help accelerate that whole claims process. There's no reason now with instant gratification world that somebody should be waiting to get their check for any sort of claims. There's 30 million claims. Harvey claims, there are 80,000 claims alone in Houston for Harvey. I'm going to give you an interesting anecdote about that as I set up this demo here. There are 2,000 certified flood adjusters, and most of them are aging out of this space. Right? There's not a lot of people going into the adjusting space. If I took a show of hands, I probably guarantee that 0 people would say they're going into the adjusting world and know anyone going into the adjusting world. So those folks are aging out. Harvey hit 80,000 homes, right? It took people 3 to 4 months to get money for their claim, and that's ridiculous. So it took an adjuster having to come on site, potentially 1, twice, and all they're doing really is they're taking measurements of the space, building out 3D models, and they are taking pictures. And so these are certified. They're doing a little bit more than that, not to demean that, but it's a data capture system. And so there's no reason why those flood victims can't just do this themselves, get that check. At the beginning, they're only getting a couple of $100. I talked to one person who was a Sandy victim. He waited almost 6 months to get money. And I grew up in Houston, so a ton of my family were waiting to get adjusted. And this is from FEMA, this is from the government. So there's got to be a way to settle those faster. There's got to be a way to settle the home claims faster. Right now, you can settle a car claim pretty fast. You can settle a roofing claim really fast. Nobody's doing it on the inside until Planar. All right? So let me get into the demo here. We are an AR kit-based application that's generating 3D models of the space and gathering all of the context of the space. Okay? Looking good. I can see the reflection. Awesome. All right. So what I'm going to show you is an example of what the homeowner can go through. So the use case is the homeowner gets a text message from their insurance carrier, download the Planar app, and go through the process. We actually have a very simple guided workflow that we're working on that will be released in the next couple of weeks. I'm showing you the advanced view. I'm sorry, I'm tethered here. Okay, so anyone developing on ARKit knows that you have to calibrate first. So I'm going to do this real quick. It is a full 3D solution. You guys have probably seen all the demos out there measuring. It's not just a measuring solution. I'll show you that in a second. It's a full 3D modeling, grabbing all the context of the space. I'm doing this left-handed, I should probably switch. This is a kind of a hard setup because I'm actually elevating those guys. If you've demonstrated or if you've developed on ARKit, you know that it's getting a horizontal plane. So I got the plane down there, but measuring on top of here, so you'll see a little drift, all right? So, oops, okay. So then what you can do, bring it up. So there's your vertical. Now I'm in an AR session. I'm actually putting windows on that wall, We go ahead and put a door over here. And again, this is a little advanced. Guided flow walks the users through that. Let's say there's a water stain on the wall or on the floor. I can just go through here, mark that off. Okay, I'll say that's not a toilet. Go back here, pop that up. Water stain. Water stain. Now you know it's a real demo. Okay, and then I can do something on the wall here. So I'm actually in a 3D AR world right now. So I'll save that. Reactor 4. And we designed this really for the end user in mind, right? This isn't something for adjuster. Right? All right. Did I miss anything else from? Okay. No. Okay. So I'll go. One other thing that we're doing is we're automatically grabbing photos. Remember, one of the things we want to do is not just grab context of the space, but we actually want to grab all the context. Because as you're going through a claim, they're going to say, what kind of flooring do you have, right? They're going to say, what kind of walls do you have, what kind of texture is there. And that all helps the claims process, okay? I'm showing you an early version here. It's actually Planner you can download. This version is automatically adding those pictures into the space, and I'll show you what happens. So this automatically syncs up to the cloud, okay? And an adjuster is sitting there on the back end, and usually you can see a report is generated here for the end user itself. But what happens is the adjuster is usually tied into their Xactimate or some sort of estimation software, right? We have APIs already set up. Actually, Planner is available in branded or SDK form. So if you have a need for adding three-dimensionality into your app, we can do that as well. So let me plug in here. So all the APIs will hit. They'll be notified that there is a new project on the back end. Let me refresh this to make sure this is maximized. Is that coming through okay? All right, good. Okay, so this is our back end system where companies can have it, enterprises can have it, individuals can leverage our system, fully tenanted, 3 levels of security or of permissions. And so as you drill into here, what's actually happened is we've got the location. That's huge for fraud, right? I can't tell you how many people have come back to me and said they've seen the same sofa in about 500 different claims. And so you're tagging the geo. It's important for fraud purposes, okay? Each of those pictures I grabbed actually has a geo marker on it, okay? So what we do is we summarize. So if you have a bunch of different rooms in the house, we summarize all that information. For estimation purposes, they need to know how much drywall are you going to need, how much wood are you going to need to replace in the floor. So it's kind of boring stuff, but all the summaries of all these areas are automatically calculated and sent out to the estimation software system. Now, one refresh here. Okay. So what we're doing is automatically generating the report. I kind of showed you that report that was shown in the app itself, but it's a 2D report that shows all the bird's eye view of the space, all the reports and everything else. So all of this is all available via API. Okay, shows you the location, summary of all the data. You can export all of these files into CAD files. So if you're an interior designer, or if the insurance company, there's a lot of overlap with the home product space, want to send this out to the remodeler, then they can send it out to them and they can start building on top of that. Sorry, I need to turn around and make sure I'm not ignoring the whole group here. So here's the one I just did. Okay. Now you can see the 3D model that's automatically generated, right? Let me expand that out. So that's pretty cool with all the annotations, the oak water stem there. I'm not sure how they replaced that. But you can see as I mouse over, it's really small in the text upper left. All the measurements are there, windows, everything else. But here's the cool thing that we're also at. So this is pretty darn cool that we're generating 3D models directly from AR, right? Very, very relevant for insurance carriers. They need a 3D model. They need about 2 rooms. They They need all the information that I just showed you in order to settle claims. Now the pictures that I just took, since I know the position of the camera in the space, now you have the raycast going out, showing you the pictures specifically of that area, right? Which I think is super cool, right? So you go out, you have all these pictures. Look at even the cameras pointed at my engineers are awesome, right? The cameras are pointing in the right direction here. So it's either pointed down, kind of slightly up. So three-dimensional CAD file automatically generated 95 to 99% accurate. So great for estimates. Insurance carriers are looking for 90 to 95% accurate. It's really the actuaries really have their tables all set up so they know how to do this. So it works really well. Intended for the homeowner to use so that they can do it on their own time and get paid earlier. I mean, if you have an option between waiting 4 months to get paid or downloading an app and going through this thing, I think you're going to take option B. So this is a very, very practical use for AR. We're generating revenue. We've signed 3 insurance carriers. We've got 9 more that are using this. There is like I said, people have already paved the way on roofs, on cars, but nobody's doing it inside the home, and so we are. So it's a very exciting time. And as you can imagine, home product companies are leveraging this as well. It's kind of a natural progression into the home product space as well. So window treatments, window replacements, flooring, they're all using this to get that customer further down the flow, down the funnel. So if you take all those pictures, you can get an estimate right away without having to bring somebody on your side. Into your home and do all the scheduling gymnastics and having a stranger in your home, doing the measurements and taking pictures and doing all the stuff that you can do yourself now with Planner. So why wait? Use the system, generate that information right away, get your claims, buy your products. Thank you.
Thank you, I will get you locked and loaded, but now's a good time to ask questions. By the way, I forgot to let you know that our new hashtag is AWE Nite SF. So AWE Nite SF. I'm a bad Xenial. I didn't say that right from the start. So get on Twitter, Facebook. We are live streaming again tonight, by the way, so you can share that from the Facebook page, Augmented World Expo. Let's take some questions for Andy. Here we go. This one's easy.
Hey, so we're gonna be friends. I worked with I worked with Full Data Systems.
Okay.
If you're familiar with that, they have an incredibly obtuse, very, very old way of doing things, like you said. But the system that's set up, and it's very draconian, for lack of term. How do you penetrate that? How do you change such a system of thinking to get them to adopt? And the insurance companies really are holding that hammer, and they're saying, this is how you do it. How do you change that?
I think they're being forced to because nobody's going into adjusting, right? Just through the aging out and just through natural attrition, nobody's going into it. So who's going to go capture the information? And what you're seeing right now actually is the certified adjusters are aging out. I was just at a conference last week in Orlando for this. They're aging out. So what's coming in is kind of the gig economy workers. So inspectors that go out, not certified, and they can do this easily, right? Now instead of charging $500, they're charging $90 or $80 to go on site. Plus our system enables them, so they don't have to be certified for the system. So it's a natural progression. Their first step is going to be enabling the inspectors to do it, and then the next step is going to be the homeowners. So it's carriers in various states of adoption, right? But the good thing is, there's a company in town called Hover. They do computer vision on the outside of the home. You take 8 pictures and it generates a 3D model of your home. They're really paving the way, and so adoption is there, acceptance is there, and frankly, it's a matter of the accountants accepting it. One more.
Did you go after companies like Full Davis, or did you go for insurance adjusters to force that to go down?
Both. Can I go for both?
We have a question over here.
Yes, sir.
So great job.
Thank you.
This is an awesome product. I've been banging my head. I was like, why didn't I think of this idea of generating a 3D model because the data is already there.
Right.
So my question is like, what are the limitations you're seeing with ARKit right now? What other feature are you hoping there was to give you more additional information?
I think the limitation was, and I think it had been mentioned, and it'll probably be mentioned a couple times, the limitation is the UX UX metaphors in AR, getting users used to it. Like, I don't know if you saw it, you had to hover over the segment for it to pop up. Not everybody's used to it. I mean, a lot of the gaming world, the gamers are used to that. They know how to do that, but homeowners, there's no way. So that's one of the things we're actually doing is we have a very prescriptive guided flow that I didn't show you, that it's trigger based. We know that they did it, congratulations. It's more training, almost a training curriculum that they go through in order to get it done. So that was one of the issues that we were dealing with. The other stuff we're doing is probably not necessarily AR related, but actually gathering all the context of the space. So in a room, they typically want to know what furniture do you have, what kind of appliances do you have, things like that they can all add into the claims process. So think of a claim as like a 35-question process, and if we answer 18 of them, we're just going to keep on going down that path to try. Can we do question 19, which is there a baseboard? What's the floor type? And just start adding that in, and whether that's asking the customer for the information or automatically gathering it through computer vision, we'll see. Right? But that's our whole goal, is to just get all the context from the space.
Awesome. Big round of applause for Andy, everyone. Okay, up next, we have Ty Clark, who's